And you can see from behind me, this is a recreation of the tent where Charlie Kirk lost his life at Utah University in September, and people are taking selfies with it.
Caleb has persisted with the same grit. It has been a long day. I honored my husband by completing all of his pre-planned fall media tour.
There are moments in life where you see something so disturbing, so off, that you can't unsee it. And what happened at AmFest, this wasn't just controversial, this was beyond the pale. Because Erika Kirk didn't just speak about her late fiancé Charlie Kirk at a political festival. No, she recreated the exact tent where he was killed. Let that sink in for a second. The exact tent. The place where Charlie took his last breath, and she put it on display like some kind of twisted museum exhibit. But here's where it gets even darker. People were encouraged to take selfies inside it. Selfies at a murder scene replica. Who does that? Who thinks that's okay? And apparently, Charlie's family didn't think it was okay either. Insiders are now saying that Charlie's sister Mary was absolutely horrified. She didn't see this as a tribute. She didn't see this as honoring her brother. What she saw was a spectacle. What she saw was profit.
So people are posting their selfies in the Charlie Kirk death booth that they set up at the TPUSA conference, and they're tagging him in it. Because that's what I want to do, is I want to smile for a selfie in a recreation of a book where someone was assassinated.
And honestly, can you blame her? Because when you step back and look at what actually happened at AmFest, the picture gets murkier and murkier. The real crime scene where Charlie was killed, that was torn down almost immediately, demolished, rebuilt, like they wanted to erase it from existence. But this replica tent at AmFest, it stayed up for days. It toured. It became a photo op. So let me get this straight. The actual place where a man lost his life was erased within hours, but a fake version of it gets to live on as entertainment? That doesn't sit right. That doesn't sit right at all. And once you start noticing the strangeness of it all, you can't stop. Because AmFest wasn't just a political rally. The vibes were off. The energy was dark. And the symbolism, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Erika made her entrance with literal pyrotechnics going off around her.
First thing that's happening is grief. And you can see from behind me, this is a recreation of the tent where Charlie Kirk lost his life at Utah University in September, and people are taking selfies with it. You can see all around people are saying, like, for Charlie. They're wearing replicas of the shirt that Charlie Kirk was wearing when he was killed.
Fireworks, smoke, drama, and she looked happy. She was smiling, walking through flames like some kind of performance artist. But look closer at the staging. Triangles everywhere, swirling shapes that look disturbingly like pentagrams, and right there in the center of it all, a dark figure, hovering, watching. What are we even looking at here? And that wasn't the only bizarre thing that happened at AmFest. Ben Shapiro went on stage and attacked Christians, called them charlatans, called them conspiracy theorists. At a conservative Christian event, Nicki Minaj showed up out of nowhere, which felt random and completely out of place. And then Erika had a lot to say. She alluded to grifting. She slipped up more than once. And strangest of all, she hinted, whether intentionally or not, at something that made people's blood run cold. The possibility that she knew, that she had foreknowledge of what was going to happen to Charlie. Now, a lot of people online started pointing out that AmFest didn't feel like a political gathering. It felt like a ritual, a Freemasonic ritual, to be specific.
It really mattered on a multitude of levels. So much so that it proved even more once he was assassinated.
And whether you believe in that stuff or not, the comparisons were everywhere. The staging, the symbols, the energy, it all felt intentional, deliberate. Like this wasn't just a rally, it was a ceremony. And Charlie's death, it was front and center. So why did Mary finally decide to speak out? According to new reports, she was shocked, disturbed, angry. They don't talk, they don't associate. So why is she the one controlling his narrative? Why is she the face of his legacy? It doesn't add up, because when you look at the visuals, the tone, the entire setup of AmFest, it all feels purposeful. This wasn't a mistake. This wasn't an oversight. It looked like Charlie's assassination was being mocked, publicly, proudly, and the tent was the centerpiece. A full-scale replica of the location where Charlie died. Erika personally approved it. She signed off on it. She walked past it. She posed near it. And inside that tent, a ring light, set up specifically so people could take selfies. Photos of Charlie were plastered on the walls like decor, and right next to the tent, a merch stall selling shirts, selling hats, selling memorabilia, profiting off a man's death. How is that honoring someone? How is that grief? The backlash online was immediate and brutal. People were calling Erika out left and right. They said she was shamelessly mocking Charlie. They questioned how someone could emotionally tolerate setting up a murder scene as a photo booth. Others said her grief looked performative, fake, calculated. And honestly, when you see the footage, it's hard to disagree. The reactions on X, formerly Twitter, were cutting. People called the whole setup sick, beyond parody. One user said it looked like a murder-themed selfie booth at a true crime convention. Another said none of this was normal. None of it made sense. And they're right, it doesn't. But it gets worse. Because Erika's entire appearance at AmFest felt like a slap in the face to everything Charlie stood for. Charlie was vocal about his beliefs. He criticized celebrity culture. He called out people like Nicki Minaj, saying she was a bad role model. And what does Erika do at AmFest? She praises Nicki Minaj. She celebrates her. She aligns herself with the exact type of figure Charlie spoke out against.
Minaj, Cardi B.
Okay, Nicki Minaj is causing dads to leave the home.
Hold on, I don't think that's a good role model for 18-year-old black girls. I don't.
Was that intentional? Was that a message? Because it sure felt like one.
I love this woman. She's an amazing woman. She has a soul and a heart for the...
And then there's the language Erika used. At one point she said, once he was assassinated, not after he was killed, not when we lost him. Once he was assassinated. That phrasing implies anticipation. It implies expectation, like she was waiting for it to happen. Now, does that prove foreknowledge? No. Some people dismissed it as just poor speaking ability, a slip of the tongue, but others couldn't shake the unease it caused, because when you add it to everything else, it starts to paint a picture.
Proved even more once he was assassinated. Once he was assassinated. Once he was assassinated.
And speaking of slips, Erika had another one that went viral almost instantly. While honoring a student, she accidentally said grift instead of grit. She laughed it off. Blame it on being tired. But the internet doesn't forget. And in the context of everything happening around her, it felt like she accidentally said the quiet part out loud.
Despite the devastating loss of Charlie Kirk, my incredible husband at UVU, Caleb has persisted with the same grit. It has been a long day. Trust me, you're not a grifter, honey. It's all good.
But let's go back to the symbolism, because this is where things get really dark. Viewers who watched the AmFest footage started pointing out ritualistic imagery everywhere, high-resolution triangles in the staging, swirling pentagram-like shapes in the background, a dark figure positioned at the center of it all. And this is supposedly a Christian conservative organization. Turning Point USA claims to represent Christian values. So why does their biggest event of the year look like something out of an occult ceremony? The contradiction is glaring.
We're going to crank the volume all the way up. One of the most powerful words in the English language is the word no. Look at the Turning Point events that get bigger and bigger and larger every year. No one is above the law. Because America is not a place. America is a people. America is a country. America is a nation. Welcome to the Second American Revolution.
And then there's the numbers. And Turning Point USA claimed that exactly 33,000 people attended AmFest. Not around 33,000, exactly 33,000. At what point do coincidences stop being coincidences?
Suspect was taken into custody at 10 p.m. local time. In less than 36 hours, 33 to be precise.
In 33 hours, we have made historic progress for Charlie.
There's been so many conspiracy theories swirling around about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Do you have any updates for us, especially in light of all the online content that everyone's been talking about?
The only thing we deal with at the FBI and the Department of Justice is facts. And we delivered in record speed a manhunt to capture Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin in 33 hours.
So let's connect the dots. Erika's verbal slips, the stagecraft, the dark symbolism, the numbers, the estrangement from Charlie's family, the merch booth next to a murder scene. When you put it all together, what are we looking at? Because a lot of people believe Charlie's death wasn't honored at AmFest. They believe it was mocked, turned into a spectacle, turned into a brand. And the reactions? They've been extreme. One user compared the whole thing to ritualistic serial killer symbolism, the way killers return to the scene, the way they relive the act. Others called it a humiliation ritual, a public display meant to degrade and mock. The claim being thrown around is dark and disturbing, that Charlie was killed and then humiliated after death. His memory twisted, his image was controlled, his death turned into a carnival attraction. And if even a fraction of this is true, if even some of what we're seeing is intentional, then we're not just talking about bad taste. We're talking about something far more sinister, something that should make all of us very, very uncomfortable.